Hello guys and welcome to my tutorial for the game Phoenix Point. Now this game is kind of like XCOM. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not too steep thankfully. And there is a really good tutorial in the game. I played the game for a good couple of hours so far. I just wanted to share what I've grasped so far to help you hit the ground running. Also as well, thank you to Snapshot Games for gifting me a copy of the game. So let's get into it, shall we? So essentially this game is a turn-based RPG and strategy game, and the idea of this game is essentially you move one character at a time. So at the moment my squad has got 6 characters which I can move around, but we have to set things up in order to maximize damage and minimize losses. Now, what we're seeing right now, though, however, is the world map, or what we call the geoscape, as you can see. So, what we're basically fighting off is an alien invasion. So, aliens have come over, they've taken over planet Earth, and we have to recapture it one bit at a time. We've gone through and we've done a scan from our main base. So we have our main base, which is here, which is Phoenix Point, which is obviously what the game is called. And everything stems from there. The more that we are scanning the world, which you do as part of the tutorial at the beginning of the game, the more points of interest become available. So I've already done this mission, I've already done this mission and this mission. So I am slowly working towards the next mission. So you have a spaceship, which allows you to, or an aircraft basically, which allows you to get around the world. Now before we get into a mission, let me quickly show you what you have on offer. So you have the base. You can see here we have living quarters, we have medical bay, we can build more to it. In order to let your squad recover, minimum you need to have is a living quarters and a medical bay. Initially they are built for you. You can see that I've also got food production and a store also on the way, just for the sake of it. And like I said, in the tutorial, one of the first things you do is repair your vehicle, your aircraft. Now, you can see here, you have the personnel, you have your squad. We can see with this symbol here that we need to level him up because of EXP I got in the previous level. So I can click on him, and I can click on training, and it allows me to assign points. So you can see that individual skills I can set up, or I can increase strength and willpower or speed. So let me increase strength by 1. So the good thing is in this game is that you can undo your choices. Let's say you're not happy with the choice you made, you can just straight away undo it. So, which is good. And then as well, you can see that I'm using the points. It tells you how much SP it's going to cost in order to add the skill point. So it's up to you to balance it as need be, and read through the skills which are available. See if you think it will be good. Now, the point of our sort of real-time strategy games, RPGs, and so on. Like, I know that I'm jumping between genres here, but the point is to balance stats. Make sure you have skills and equipment and points and power which you feel are good for you, for your play style. It's not down for me, for example, to tell you this is the cookie cutter talent setup, you should only do this and nothing else and so on. It's down to you. You assign the points as you see fit. And we can go through each one. I would say between missions, make sure, as with any typical RPG style, that you maximize your stats as much as humanly possible. Because obviously the way that these games are designed, they have a increasing scale of difficulty. So simply, if you're not ready, then don't be surprised if you get completely wrecked in the next mission. What you also have here is research. Now, you select which order you want to do the research in. I'm happy just adding them as need be. So you can see the time required for each one. So you can see here, this needs 1 day, 6 hours, this needs 1 day, 1 hour, and so on. Time passes on the geoscape, on the world map, and at the moment it's paused, but I will show you in a moment how to forward time. And then you have manufacturing, which is used for, as you can see, equipment such as medkits, grenades, things like that, and for armor and for vehicles. So as time goes on, you'll find that you need more and more of these, but initially you can just get away with making sure that you have medkits, for example, and maybe the odd grenade. It will get more and more complicated later on, but the point of this video is a beginner's guide, it's not a advanced guide. And then you have diplomacy. So along the way, you are meeting different factions who want to help you along your journey. So they will essentially, as you can see, there is a balancing act between which ones you accept and which ones you don't. At the start of the game, I would say just accept them all, but later on, you might really need to consider which ones to accept or not to accept. And then the last thing you have is the Phoenixpedia, which will go through the game in the millionth degree of detail. Every single thing you can imagine is listed here. So if you want to read more about the game, then this is where to do it from. But the reason why they throw it into an encyclopedia is essentially it's optional reading. It's up to you if you want to get into this sort of game that much. Generally, I feel the dedicated fans tend to, but for random players like myself, I'm not going to read into this too far, but it's at least there in case you want it. So anyway, so we have the geoscape. As you can see here, the time is currently paused. So we can click play, and now time is passing. Our scan is increasing. The research is proceeding forwards, and we are able to accept more and more missions. As we can see, there's a lot of missions already available. So I've paused time. I'm going to click on this mission, move to it, so we fly straight towards it. We explore it first, so time passes while we're exploring, because we want to see what's available. You have been ambushed, so survive 3 turns. So let's see the mission. Let's get it done. So as I say, guys, the good thing about this game as well, let's say you mess up, okay? You haven't had a good start. You walk straight into a place where they explode and all of your characters are on fire and you're losing really early into the game. You can restart any level you like. You can just hit escape on your keyboard and click restart. The tutorial does has a good way of explaining to you what the different controls are for keyboard, mouse, and also for gamepad. Now, as you can see, I've got my squad here. They're all set around. Now, we can see the enemies here. So, when you have a character, you can see how many, when you get to a place, for example, let's say I move this character from here to here. You see the lines pulsing out of it? Those lines represent which enemies he will be able to see from that point. But of course, if you can see an enemy, the enemy can see you. So it doesn't, it's not necessarily a good thing to stand here when there's 3 enemies can shoot at you. So I might actually stand here, for example, because then it's 1-on-1. And what you also have here on the hotbar, you have standby, which is essentially you want to just essentially skip the turn for that character if you have nothing else to do. You have different abilities which you're earning, like reload and quick aim and so on. It's down to your stats, which you saw in the personnel menu. And then the generic ones, you have Overwatch. What Overwatch means is that it will cover a region, as you can see in this cone, that if an enemy crosses this region, it will automatically fire at them the second that they come into the vicinity. So, in fact, I'm going to set up Overwatch.
Overwatching.
So, the second he spots an enemy, he's going to fire at him. I mean, obviously you can already see him, but just for the sake of the example. Now, this guy, again, you need to be careful. You don't want to overburden yourself too much. I'm going to move him here. Now, it does automatically scroll between your characters, but you can select any character you like just by left-clicking on them. But let's go back to this character. Now, we have the fire option down here, or F on the keyboard. We can click on it, and then we can either fire a weapon and it will just fire at any part of his body, or we can do this button, which is specific aim. Now, one thing about these characters is that their armor plate, you can see the armor plate around his shoulders, are almost indestructible. So they're invulnerable. So what I would really recommend is to go after their weak points. For example, their arms, their pincers, and so on. And you will find with time which bits to shoot. You can shoot them in the leg, and so on. So let's shoot this pincer. Okay, so he missed. That's just unfortunate. Now, let's try the next character. So we're going to keep him on standby. Next one, let's put him here. And what we're going to do is we're going to overwatch over these two.
Providing overwatch.
In case any of you are wondering, I'm playing the game on easy mode. So let's move here. Now, what you also have on each character, you see those sort of 4 little blue bars, and you see it became 1. They are the represent the action points. So you have 4 action points per turn, and you essentially are able to only use 4. Now, what you also have here, you have your inventory, and if you have anything that you want to pick up or anything you've equipped in advance and you want to use in battle, you need to make sure it's here in the ready tab. You can drag and drop them as you go. You can see this character's got 2 grenades. So, and as you can see, I've equipped a grenade and a med kit, which I feel is good at the start. So let me... okay, so I don't have enough action points to actually throw the grenade this turn. So, in fact, I'm just going to stand by. Next turn, I'll throw the grenade at both of them. Now, next, this guy. Let's put him over here. And let's stand by. And this one, let's move him over here just a little bit. I just want to make sure I've got enough action points to do what I need to do. Now, I recommend with the free aim, because the good thing about the free aim, you can select anything you like. You can see you move it with your controller or L stick with the joypad. And you can shoot your own people, but obviously it's a friendly unit. It will warn you, so don't. So we were dealing with this guy. So let's see if we can get him. Now, of course, you can set things up so that your snipers or all of your characters have like really powerful aim. Okay, let's stand by. That's it. So we've now used all of our turns. Now it's their turn. So let's see how we do. So I set Overwatch. Unfortunately, I missed. Okay. Uh-oh. So I had 3 of them side by side, which meant all 3 of them could do grenade. Again, Overwatch. So they shot him the second he spotted him. And then let's see what happens next. Let's see what the enemy does. Sometimes the game essentially has to think, you know, so if there's any pause. So obviously, this was a mistake. Having the 3 side by side was a mistake because they're able to attack all 3 of us at once. And yeah, now my squad is screwed. So essentially, I'm not happy with the way I set this up. So anytime I can click escape and click restart, because I feel that I've taken way too much damage at the beginning, so I need to restart and try again. Now, of course, the whole point of this is a strategy game as well. You need to really think what will maximize the damage to them and minimize the damage to you. So you have to really strategize to really get forward in the game. But essentially, that's it. So I've covered all of the basics. I highly recommend the tutorial. The tutorial will take you even through all the controls. So you can zoom in, for example, with T. You can zoom out with G. You can rotate the camera with Q and E. And it takes you through all the movement controls, how to use your inventory, and so on. So I now have learned for next time not to place all my characters so close together because these guys throw grenades. So I need to make sure that I space them out and do the mission again. Now, these games, from my experience, can be quite slow, but you can see that even with it being quite slow, essentially you can still get wrecked if you just don't strategize and you don't do things properly. Now, in the future, what I really recommend as well for you guys, if you really get into games like this, is to just do research. If you're not sure how to get through a situation or level, there's a lot of strategy guides out there. There's a lot of more experienced players who are willing to help. Also, as well, there are other games which are similar to this genre, like your XCOMs and so on. So yeah, but that's it. So if you have any feedback about Phoenix Point, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you again to Snapshot Games for gifting me a copy of this game. I will be streaming it at some point as well. So yeah. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can watch a random video over there. You can watch the latest upload down there. Or you can click down here to subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye bye.